Well, Environment Canterbury is asking for urgent government help to protect communities from hazards brought on by climate change. The increasing scale and frequency of extreme weather events hammering the country is putting infrastructure to the test, and all too often it's failing.
The water was up to here.
2 days after record-breaking rainfall in Christchurch, Barney Gray was still wading through floodwaters in her front yard.
This water, when it gets so high, it goes inside their houses when you get further on down Emmett Street.
It's the latest in at least a dozen major rain events in Canterbury over the past 2 years, which have wreaked havoc in vulnerable areas.
At the moment, the way the system's set up is we spend money on recovery. In other words, we wait for the disaster to happen. We have the impacts of that, and then those impacts we have to find the money for.
Environment Canterbury says it urgently needs an extra $150 million a year to pay for protection like stop banks. It's asking the government for help. It's a problem being felt right across the country, but the government says the Three Waters reform will improve stormwater systems long term.
There will be some resilience aspects that we can turn our attention to once we address the significant issue of investing in water infrastructure.
But these communities need help now.
The increasing magnitude and frequency of these events is very real for us.
As more and more Kiwis find themselves cleaning up the effects of climate change again. Well, for more on this, let's bring in Insurance Council CEO Tim Grafton. Kia ora, Tim. Thanks so much for speaking with us tonight. So many severe weather events already this winter. When will we get an idea of the cost of all of this damage?
Well, so far this year, we're running close to $200 million of insured losses from extreme weather events. Obviously, we're not through winter yet, and that figure doesn't include the storms and floods that we've seen in July. So we're expecting that we'll be running close to 300 plus million by the end of this year. And that doesn't include the social disruption, cultural, environmental loss, and all the economic losses that can't be insured.
Yeah, and all the stress as well, of course. As it stands right now, are councils and residents equipped to deal with severe weather on the scale and at the frequency we're seeing these events now?
Well, councils struggle, and as you can see from the flooding, it's very difficult for homeowners and businesses to be able to defend themselves easily. So, you know, sandbagging when you know the water's rising can help, but if it rises too much, obviously, it's very difficult to do much about that. Lifting valuables and goods to higher levels is a way of reducing the impact and damage to your property. But ultimately, it's going to require a long-term planning to try and reduce the risks and investment in that risk reduction. That,
of course, is what Environment Canterbury is asking for from the government. Do you think that is going to happen? Can we afford for it not to happen, for the government to get more involved?
Oh, I think everybody's got to get involved. Leadership from central government, funding's got to be there. We've all got to be contributing to finding the solution so we keep risks down, manage those risks, stop building in dumb places so we don't add to the risks, and figure out how in specific high-risk areas we can help reduce those risks.
OK, lovely. Thanks very much for your thoughts tonight, Tim.
Thanks, Ingrid.